Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this Dynamicweb 9.2 release presentation. My name is Nikolai, and I'm the CTO of Dynamicweb, and I'm having the responsibility of the product releases at Dynamicweb. So first, Dynamicweb 9 is relatively new. It was released half a year ago, and probably a lot of you is not on this version of Dynamicweb yet, but still using Dynamicweb 8. So I'll start with a recap of some of the major improvements from Dynamicweb 9 over Dynamicweb 8 and show you a couple of the improvements that has been added to the platform. The most important thing and the thing that is easy to see is the new user interface that Dynamicweb has received. Dynamicweb 8 has been around for many years and has done a really good job and had a nice user interface when it came around. But time goes by and browsers can do a lot of new things, and all of these new features and how user interface has progressed in the last couple of years is some of the main parts that we've added to Dynamicweb 9. So the entire user interface has been updated to a more modern experience and also utilizing some of the benefits that we have in the browsers that are new. The reason of doing this is, of course, to give a much better workflow inside our content management system and also make it faster for you to edit the content that you have on your platform. Another thing is the performance of the platform. With the new technology that we have around, we can utilize some of all the things that has happened also in the underlying technology, which is the .NET. Dynamicweb 9 utilizes all of these things to make the platform faster and more efficient, which is very important in these days with customers that want faster and responsive websites. And also when we serve a lot of data to mobile phones, it has to be fast. Another important thing that is happening is the underlying technology is changing quite a bit from Microsoft. To keep your solution ready for the future and not fall behind technology-wise, we also need to follow the progress in technology. Another big benefit in Dynamicweb 9 over 8 is the way that we distribute the software, because one of the things that can cost money and take a lot of time and also introduce risk to your projects or upgrades is that you need to upgrade the entire application. With the new package system in Dynamicweb 9, it's possible to update only the things that you need, and you can do it without calling a developer, and in that way save some time and some money on the updates of your solution, also only updating one part of your solution instead of a lot of the entire application for a small fix. Since the release, of course, we have a lot of new online solutions running on Dynamicweb 9. I have a couple of examples. This is JKS, which is a staffing company that has launched a new website based on Dynamicweb 9, where you can create and find CVs for different kinds of jobs. Another example is one of our partners, Sendistoren, on the Faroe Islands. They created a new website, which is really cool looking. And they also created this customer, which is a place where you can rent houses on the islands, and this uses all the new things in Dynamicweb 9 and also utilizes a lot of items and searching as well. Very nice website indeed. But back to 9.2, which is this release, the second upgrade to the initial release of Dynamicweb 9, and this solution or this release contains 4 major new features alongside a long list of improvements that we received from customers and partners to Dynamicweb 9. First of all, we have a much faster backend, or to use a fashionable word these Trump days, a tremendously faster backend. We've worked quite a bit to improve the performance of working around in the backend. And especially working with content. Oh, sorry, I'm still in the Dynamicweb 9 features. One of the things that we've had a lot of issues for in the old version of Dynamicweb is when you switch between tasks inside the system to make it much faster and without losing your content. And one of the features that we added to Dynamicweb 9 is the possibility to switch between the content area and the file area and the user area and so on without having to save and close what you're working with to shift to the new area. So instead you can just go from the content part when you're editing something and go to e-commerce and handle some stuff, or go to the file manager to edit a photo and so on. And you can do all of this and have all the different tabs opened all at once. This makes it much easier and faster to edit your content, so you don't have to spend so much time inside the platform. Another thing that we did is also to make the content editing more intuitive, is to show a bit more what's going on. So things like uploading the files and seeing the images that is put on the content is some of the things that we added to this new user interface. Also things like collapsing the menus and the toolbar, so you have a lot of area and can use most of the screen to your editing. Will make it much easier to see what's going on, especially if you have a lot of content going on. And also one big wish, and the last thing I'm focused on today, is how you handle images and files and documents in general. Uploading files and resizing them and how you work in the file manager has been greatly improved, so you need to go through a lot fewer steps and also have a more visual representation of your file system. I'll just show you a brief introduction to these features, some examples. So as you can see, I have the content tab out here where I can navigate and edit all my content. And while I'm doing that, I can go to the file manager, and without losing my work I'm doing up here, I can just shift to the file manager. And in here we have another one of the new important features. I can drag and drop, upload some of my things. I can get a thumbnail view pretty fast, and I have some other important new things directly from in here. Another thing with the files, you can see the image area down here. I can choose from my files in the file manager from this location, or I can upload directly from my computer without going into the file manager. Also a new feature that we added in Dynamicweb 9, which makes the user experience much better. So let's now look at the 9.2 features that has been arriving in the release that came this week. The first thing I'm going to focus on is the underlying search engine and the speed of page showing in Dynamicweb. Because one of the important things in terms of conversions and keeping visitors to your website and not being frustrated and leave because of slow pages is some of these numbers from Forbes that says that you will serve a lot fewer pages and have more bounces on your website if you just decrease your web page speed by just a tiny bit. And we also know from other case stories that just improving your website performance with 1/10 of a second can actually mean a lot of conversion extra on your website. So that's why speed is really important, because users and visitors are very impatient. So, and one of the things that is usually taking a long time on a website is a thing like search, because it needs to look in big amounts of data. And this is one of the places where we did some new stuff. Another important part is, except the speed, is the relevance of the search results, and the Dynamicweb 9.2 contains a lot of improvements to our search engine to make this much better. And first of all, we extended the index with more relevant data. So especially if you have an e-commerce solution, you have new fields on the index, making it possible to create searches that are much more relevant for your users, so they find what they're looking for, and eventually they're going to buy the products instead of leaving your website without buying anything. We also made some changes to how the indexing is being handled. So your absolutely sure you always have the most current index available, and the search results contains all the newest data. It's also possible to set up something called incremental updates. So whenever you make just a tiny update to your product catalog, the index can be updated really fast after the change you made, instead of waiting until the next indexing is run. And we also made some adjustments to what you can, how you can set up a search, so you can do some more specific searches. And this is especially interesting for business-to-business e-commerce solution, where we see some very specific search patterns, and because people are looking for specific product numbers or IDs or properties on products, and being able to find the right products is very important for those solutions, and that's some of the features that we added to the index. So all of this can be used to build a smarter and faster website, because you can utilize the search engine to make a better experience. An example, one of the things that you can do now, if you have these SKUs that covers maybe different types of products and variants in groups, we usually see a system in how things like SKUs are put together. And one of the things you can do now with the updated index is you can search parts of the SKUs specifically, and if you target or hit anything in the SKU, you can boost the search results so they stay on top of all the other things that you find searching for these relatively short terms. So before this update, a search for 1, 2, 3 would give us 0 result finding products with this SKU, and with the update you will now find the product that you're actually looking for, or the product family you're looking for, and in that way improve the experience for the user of my website. We could also take a look at this one. It's a Google web page speed tester, and this is a tool you can use to test your website in an easy manner to see, is my website performing decently enough? And it's very simple. You get a score between 0 and 100, and it says there are some things you should fix and some things you should you consider fixing. And all of these things could be interesting to look at to improve the user experience of your website. If your website is too slow, it can affect your conversions and so on. And if you have things on your website in the product catalog that are slow, it could be improved by utilizing the index below the product catalog. A new major feature in Dynamicweb 9.2 is a new PIMP system, or the beginning of a PIMP system. And PIMP is meant product information management, which is a system for updating and improving all the content that I have available on my product catalog. So consider the product journey. We have products usually in our ERP, and in ERP we have very little data. We have a product name, and we have a SKU, and we have a price. Sometimes we have descriptions, but that's more or less what we have on the ERP system. So moving products from our ERP and into our e-commerce solution, we need a lot more information in order to make the products relevant. This goes especially for business-to-consumer websites, but also in business-to-business websites. We need enough information on the products in order to sell something. So we need to apply things like images and text and all kinds of attributes regarding the product, its width and height and weight and all that kind of stuff. We might also need to translate to different languages, so we have the products available for all the markets that we're in. And we also need to categorize your products, not in a financial manner as we have it in the ERP system, but put it into a categorization that makes sense in an e-commerce solution. So all of these things is something that needs to be taken care of on the product. And one way of doing it is using a product information management system, and a lot of our customers do use a system like that. And the setup would be something similar to this one. You have an ERP system that put all the products into the PIMP system, and then you take the product data from the PIMP system and move it into Dynamicweb, where you publish them using our e-commerce platform. And And Dynamicweb is connected to your ERP to collect, find prices and place orders and stuff like that. And of course, this is working well, but can also be complicated because we have 3 systems that need to talk to each other. So if we can take out complexity of some of these solutions, that would be really nice. So what we're aiming at with the new PIM system for Dynamicweb 9.2 is that in some scenarios we can skip the PIM system, so we can have only one integration, and the benefits is of course many. You save a lot of implementation time and licenses on having 2 systems, but you also save the risk of all these systems being able to talk together. More things can go wrong. So basically this would make it much more simpler to manage your data that you need on your e-commerce solution. So what Dynamicweb PIM system does is it gives you a list of features that you can use to manage and update your content in your solution or your product data in our solution. And it's based on especially 2 things in this first version. And the first thing is to create some searches of products that needs to be handled. So you can create a search that says, give me all products that has just been imported and does not have a description yet, or products that hasn't been translated, or products that doesn't have an image. And you can make all kinds of searches like that. You can also search out products from a specific vendor and say, this is a list of products that he needs to take care of that are updated with enough information and that you have all the images and so on. So let's take a look at how this looks in the administration of Dynamicweb. In the e-commerce solution, where you are used to having the product catalog with all the products and so on, you now have a new node called product management. Now, and in here we can create a structure of searches into my product catalog. So I can create folders and I can create searches in the folder structure, and I can create searches that are for me or for the rest of my team. So right here I've created a search that is just giving me all the products that has been updated in the last week, and that's basically just a search I defined using the interface, where just give me all products that has been updated in the past week. And that's very simple search, and down here I can control which fields to show on the result of this. Another relevant search is let me find all products on the solution that are active. So that means they are published on the website but doesn't have a SKU put into it. That should not happen, so I put it in a folder with curious that should be empty. And you can see I have no results, which means that's perfect. I don't want to have this results. I have another scenario. Give me all active products that doesn't have a price, which is also a bad thing because I don't want to sell products that doesn't have a price. And right here I can see I found a campaign product that has a price of 0, and that's probably a mistake. So it should either be deactivated or be given a price, so we don't have it on the website sitting around for 0 amount to buy with. And the last example I'm going to show you is give me all the products that doesn't have metadata. And now I get a long list of products that I might want to take a look at the title and give it another one instead of just the product to optimize my SEO on the website. And as you can see on this one, it's been optimized only to keep the name and the title, and we don't see any other information on this one. And that's one of the other things that we can do on this. Whenever I create a search for products that fulfill one of the criteria, I can also define which fields I want to show. So if it's something related to the price and where the price is important to edit, I can just add that to the editing, and I can also control which countries I want to take a look at. So if I only want to see the Danish products, and I can just remove the other languages. Now I just have one language. I also get the price into the administration in here. The language part down here is of course one of the very important features of this system, because translation of all this product data is a hassle. So I can see all the translated information over here, and I can write the Danish or the English translation of all the product data using this user interface. And I create searches for finding every product that hasn't been translated to English and show that to some users, and I can have another search finding all the products not translated to German and show that to another part of the users. So this is the core concept of the PIMP system so far. It's an early version, and you're going to see a lot more features coming into to this new capability of Dynamicweb. So one of the things, some of the things you are going to see this spring is support for workflows. That means that you can create different steps your products needs to go through. So first you get them in, and you need to make sure they have a description and an image. The next step would be you need to make sure you have a translation of your products. Once that's done, we have translations and image on and text on our products. We might want to go publish them, and you can create searches for each of these steps and put them into a workflow. All of these workflows can be put onto a dashboard, so you can get one big overview of the status of my product catalog. How many products do I have that is not fulfilling the requirements to be published on my website, which is of course very important to keep my website's data relevant and up to date. It will also be possible to set up notifications on these workflows. So if you have a search that should be empty, like the one with products with no price, you can receive an email when the search discovers products that doesn't have a price. And that means that there is something that you need to log in and manage in your solution and make sure that you take the problem out of the way. And data validation is also an important part of this, so you can make sure that the data you have on your product catalog is as it should be by using these searches and workflows. And of course, this is very early, and if any of you is willing to be part of the process of adding features to this, customer input is very welcome, and we are also interested in working with some of you on your solutions to give you an experience that fits the needs that you have. Another new tool in Dynamicweb 9.2 is something called deployment tool. And a deployment tool is a tool that can help us move new features that we created on our website from the development environment and into our production environment. So you probably have a partner or developer involved in creating new features on your website. It could be new delivery countries or new templates or a new newsletter template or stuff like that. All this kind of setup of the solution is something that is usually taking place on a development machine. And moving this information or this new configuration from a development machine into your live website is something that has to be done manually today. With 9.2, you can make that process semi-automatic. So Dynamicweb will handle moving all the data and all the configuration that is decided by the developer. And it takes a lot of risk out of the deployment process. It also takes out a lot of time of the deployment process. So it's basically improving that experience, and so you can focus your time and your money on producing something that provides something useful for your website. And if you want to go all the way, best practice, you could also add a staging environment, which is basically a copy of your live website. So whenever a new feature is developed, you move it on to staging, where you test that everything is as it should be. And from the staging environment, you move it on to your live environment. And this is also something that the deployment tool supports. So it helps you and the partner to move data from one system to another. And what you're also going to see is that when you create, if you want to create new content, for example, a new campaign website, or if you have a new contacts page, you can create it in your staging environment. And once you're satisfied with it, it can be deploy it into the live solution and ready to run. The last thing I'm going to focus on the 9.2 solution is the package system in Dynamicweb, as I also told you about in the introduction. So with this solution, whenever you need a new feature from us, or you need a bug fix from us, until now it's been required that you update the entire application, and it takes a bit of time and it costs a bit of money, and of course we want to take that out of the update process. For example, now here in January and once again in February, we have some changes to how credit cards in Denmark are being processed, and that requires a update of your payment provider. That could be Dips or QuickPay or ePay or one of the other payment providers. And each of these payments have received a small update from our side, and these updates can now be distributed in a small package that you just click and install from your backend instead of needing to go through an upgrade project and get a total new, a complete upgrade of your solution. So it's much faster, and it also has a lot of less risk involved in just updating one small component of your system instead of all of it. And this is how the package manager looks like. You need to be an administrator to log in, but in here you can actually see we have some updates available for some of the packages in here. And of course this is a bit technical, but if you know what to do and have received instructions, it's basically just go in and install the update to this package, and you got your new feature, or you got your new, or got the bug fix that you need, or an update to one of the payment gateways that is required. So if you are not already on Dynamicweb 9, some recommendations on how to get started to move to this journey. First of all, in your existing Dynamicweb 8 solution, you have this Dynamicweb 9 Upgrade Advisor, which can check if what kind of complications you could run into when you do the upgrade. And this can give you an indication of how much work it involves, because there are some things that is not compatible, and a lot of things, most of the things that you have in your solutions are compatible. So this guide will give you an oversight of the amount of things that needs to be addressed as part of the upgrade. And you should of course talk to your partner about how to do this. There we also have a number of training sessions available where you can get a course in how to use Dynamicweb 9 and the entire platform. We have different courses that you can find on our training page on our website, and you can also sign up in there. And we have editor courses only aiming at the content and marketing part, and we also have e-commerce specific training courses. So if you're interested in an on-site training, you can also send us an email, and we can arrange that someone comes to your company and do a specific training that is targeted at your needs. And you also have a possibility of meeting us and our team at some of the events that we're attending this year. The first one is Directions Asia in 2017. That's in a month from now. You might want to go. It's in Thailand. It's nice and warm. Later in April and May, we are going to be at Summit EMEA and Summit now UG here in Europe. And we are also on some Danish conferences and one in Stockholm. So, but you can find more information about all these seminars or events that we attend on our website. So that's all for now. Thank you for attending this release webinar. I hope to see you later in a later release. Make sure that you've signed up to our newsletter so you'll receive all the new product information that comes from us, and we'll keep you updated with all the new stuff that we introduce. And you also have the possibility of receiving white papers on different digital trends and so on. So make sure you're signed up for our newsletter. Thank you. Bye.